Hey, welcome to my studio. I'm Sarah Bush from the Pink Teacup. Today I thought it would be fun if we talked about the mystery and the magic of obstacle removal, because I just recently had that experience and it was pretty great. So several months back, I was doing a ton of dyeing, indigo dyeing and printing and shibori resist of all these different fabric samples. And I did that for quite a while, and then I had everything dried and I stored it in piles on a table near my dye kitchen. And I would go through those piles and I rearrange things, and I had these ideas of what I wanted to make, but I was really having trouble moving forward. And I really wasn't really conscious of why that was. And then in the spring, I started to realize that, you know what, I think I need to create almost like stations in my studio because I work with such disparate media. And I thought it would help me transition from one to the other more efficiently. So I had one for my sketchbooks, one for my felting, one for my printing. And then I thought I'd better create one for my natural dyeing and indigo dyeing and sewing. So when I did that, when I got to that one, I really had to think about what is it that I need? And that's when I realized what I need is to see these samples on the wall so that I can look at them all and rearrange them and combine them and step back. But I wasn't able to do that because I live in an old adobe building with plaster walls, and it's impossible to get a nail in there or a tack, and tape, everything just falls down. So I never could really figure out what I should do. And because I was taking the time to create these stations, I thought, oh wait, I could use the ceiling vigas. So these vigas are these exposed beams I have above me. And I thought, oh, I could easily put hooks in those vigas, hang chains from the hooks, and then slide rods through the chains. And it would give me this super flexible way to display, hang, rearrange all these fabric samples. In fact, I made 3 of them. I was so into it because once I did the first one, it was like a game changer. I felt positively liberated. And I immediately felt different in my body. It was almost like I was giddy. My imagination felt freed, my wheels were turning, and the stagnancy had cleared. All because of this one small shift. And it's not like it's some guarantee that my ideas are going to turn into great works of art, but my path forward, my path to create and explore has been cleared. And that feels great. And it's also fascinating because like the smallest of shifts can clear an energetic blockage like that. And I think it's useful to think about these obstacles as energetic blockages. So how could you tell if you might be being held back by an energetic blockage? Well, one of the telltale signs to me is feeling really frustrated and stymied, thinking about a project but never seeming able to move forward, like you think about it a lot but that's all you do. And honestly, that can go on for months or years. This issue went on for months for me. So it's like almost like these emotions where you just can't move forward for whatever your reason is. And so maybe like even the simple act of considering that the issue might be an obstacle allows you to then think about what would that obstacle might be. So for instance, it could be that you're really not making much work because you need more privacy. Maybe you're in a shared space. Maybe you don't really have your own room. Could you get your own room? Could you create an artifice where you talk to your family and tell them you're going to cover your work table with a tablecloth when you're done, and please don't look underneath it, and then it makes it hard for you to think and not be self-conscious if someone's looking. Almost like, would that honesty help you move forward? Or maybe it's as simple as getting a sketchbook because you can close it. And I mean, that's my favorite thing about a sketchbook, that I can close it. Or maybe you really need to consider whether you can get studio space outside of your home if you can't get yourself a separate room or clear out a closet that could somehow work as a studio desky thing. And now you might be thinking, well, yeah, I'd like a studio outside my home, Sarah, but I can't afford it. It's not about me just allowing myself. And I just want to say that one, I get it. And 2, one of my closest friends, who's also one of my brokest friends, managed to get herself studio space outside of her home because she was really willing to think outside the box about how that might look. And now she's actually connected herself to a really neat art community as well. So another example might be maybe you need to have your tools out. Like for instance, if my sewing machine isn't out, I'm not going to use it. Like my sewing machine is always out. Even if I just want to patch my jeans, I can't have anything in the way, like anything in between me and my sewing machine, or I'm not going to use it. So it's more like you just have to figure out, what do you need? And then do that. And think about what these obstacles could be for you maybe in a more open way, so that maybe new ideas can emerge. And the only other thing I'd like to say about that, finally, before I go, is sometimes we get really stuck or fixated on the obstacle that needs to be changed because it feels like it can't change or it feels impossible to change. And then we're really like stuck in our feelings about that, like being depressed or angry or frustrated. And then I'd like to say that your first obstacle in that situation is the idea that it's impossible to change it. And if you can open your heart to the thought that maybe it isn't impossible, then that creates that first shift for the change that can occur. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love you to leave me a comment and let me know what you think about this, and I hope to see you soon.